I'm gonna give you the story of Nicholas now. Nicholas now. I met Nicholas, Russian name Nikolai, Kolya, back in August of 1996 in California, in Davis. We both were attending the University of California in Davis, and it was a summer session. Well, we were part of international student community, and young Russians, we kind of tended to stay together. Nicholas was same as I and same as my friends, about 19 years old, quite a shy guy, nice guy. First time in the United States, just like me and my friends, and we were having a good time. We were young, energetic, we were hopeful, full of dreams. We all were different, but one thing in common was lack of money. We didn't have much money. Each one of us, perhaps a few $100s in our pockets, and that's it. We were pinching pennies. One of the days we were just sitting there, hanging out, and we got hungry, and it was late at night. We had meal plans, but, not dorms, but everything was closed. So Nicholas, he said, let's go out. Go out? We don't have any money. How can we go out? It's gonna cost us a pretty penny. Well, he said, don't worry about it. I am taking you out and treating you. You sure? Oh yeah, don't worry about it. Money is not a problem. No, he was saying money is not an object. Okay. We went out. The bill was about $100. Cosmic money, fortune, back in 96 for me. And he picked up the bill, like he said. He left tips. Over the next course of next few weeks, we repeated it a few times. We went out, and every time Nick invited us. And we were feeling uneasy because, he was spending his money. And every time he was saying, money is not an object. I asked him, Nicholas, where does the money come from? Just don't worry, my father sends me money, plenty of money. Oh, okay. So I figured his father was a businessman. All right. So closer to September, the summer session was over, and we were leaving for different universities. But Nick was staying at the University of California in Davis. And we were kind of a couple last days. And then one of those days, he invited us, me and a few friends. He said, let's get out. I'll show you something. So we get out in front of our dorm. And there he had it. A brand new Porsche 911 convertible. What? I said, what is this? He goes, I just bought it. You what? You just bought it? The thing is like $100,000. He said, give or take. He said, that's no problem. My dad sent me money. And I looked at him and I said, well, Nick, what does your dad do for business? So I never said he was a businessman. What does he do then? Because in Russia, that kind of money was only available to business people, big ones too. 100,000 for to send your son to an American university is a lot of money by itself. And then to buy a Porsche, a convertible, it's crazy. He looked at me, he looked at my friends, and he kind of smiled, smirked. And he said, well, my father is in charge of issuing licenses, fishing licenses for large companies who want to fish in the Pacific Ocean, Russia's Far East. And we looked at one another and we understood everything. Okay. There was a party, farewell party for all of us. And we were kind of like sharing our plans, what we were going to do in life. And I remember Nicholas' plans. He said that he was going to graduate, undergraduate degree, get a diploma, 4 years, and then spend 2 more years studying, getting his master's degree. And then in 6 years, his father and stepmother would move from Russia to the United States and, accumulate enough money to live happily ever after. And that was his plan. And something tells me that Nick, for the past 10, 20 years, has been living happily ever after with his father and stepmother in the United States. Well, howdy everyone. Welcome to Inside Russia. My name is Konstantin. I'm streaming live, giving you updates, news, stories about Russia. I am currently outside of Russia, but Russia is still inside me. Therefore, this is still Inside Russia. I'm going to be talking about interesting and sad topic at the same time. I call this the Russian paradox. And what I mean by the Russian paradox is there are some people, actually quite a few people, public servants, who must live in Russia, who must build better future for Russia, who must have their lives here in Russia, who must have their future, personal future, connected with Russia. Obviously, it goes without saying, public servants, bureaucrats, politicians and so forth, administrators working for the government, but many of them, they actually have plan B. Their families live someplace else, usually a different country, and these people, they just work in Russia. They make money in Russia. And once they receive money, one way or another, they move money to their families, to other countries. Well, this is the Russian paradox. Let me tell you more details about it. I moved back to Russia from the United States back in 2004. I got a job as one of the executives in charge of business development, sales of a company that was building power plants, substations, high voltage lines. In Russia we call it electrical infrastructure. And by means of my job, I traveled a lot, all over the place, all over Russia, because those years were wonder years. Russia was swimming in money, in gold. Electrical infrastructure was very dated, was, falling apart basically. But the government had a very good idea of renewing, rebuilding all power plants, substations, power lines, to ensure that power supply for companies, for consumers, for plants, was adequate in Russia. And there was lots of money for that, lots of construction. So I was busy. I was running around, flying around, going around Russia, meeting different companies. And to build a power plant, when you meet a customer, a power plant is a big deal. A large power plant is hundreds of millions of dollars. Long-term projects, 4 or 5 years, and so much money. And it's not just like a one company and that's it. The company, it's either a plant or part of the electrical infrastructure of one of the provinces. And usually a lot of people are involved in this project, supervising it. The government people are involved and so forth. So I was meeting all kinds of people, networking, making connections, things like that. And I met quite a few public servants, bureaucrats, the officials, and usually never met the governors of provinces, but I met local ministers of energy, like there's ministry of for everything on the local level, on the province level. So the ministers in charge of local electric infrastructure, usually they're deputies and vice governors, people like that. And every time, it never failed, every single time, they heard my accent, English accent, because back then, after having spent 9 years in the United States, I spoke Russian with funny English accent, okay? When they heard that, it never failed. They always asked me question, well, where are you from? I'd say I'm born and raised in Rostov, but where does your accent come from? And I'd tell them from the United States because I, spent 9 years. And their reaction was like this, watch. Yada, yada, yada. What? Ding. And the interest towards me would skyrocket. And I used this to my advantage all the time, okay? And they would be like, oh, wait a second. Let's talk more about it. And then they would start asking me questions about my life in the United States. At first, I didn't understand why. It was really strange, but then I started understanding more and more. They were asking me questions. Oh, where did you live in the United States? How did you get there? Did you go to university? How to get to university? Where are the best universities? Where are the good places to live? Where is the good place to buy a house? If you were to move back, where would you reside? So they were asking me like very practical questions about living in the United States. And at first it was funny, but then I started understanding there's something big about it. So I was giving them advice. I was telling them good schools for their kids, good areas to live in California, in Florida, in Massachusetts. I would tell them how to open a bank account in the United States, just like, general knowledge. Back then, people didn't have that. Now, everyone is educated. Back then, no. So those people were rich, and they knew how to make money. But it seemed like they were looking for a place to move to, okay? Or move to the children. Later, I understood that among Russian officials, it was called having reserve airport, airstrip. Okay, so it's like, I figured it was plan B for them. For example, something happens to them to Russia and they move to the United States. That's what I would do, okay? But I wasn't public servant. I wasn't a bureaucrat. I wasn't working for the government. I wasn't paid by the government, okay? I was in business. So, most people were very interested in, where to live in the United States, where to move. How about Europe? I didn't know Europe much, so I told them right away, I don't know anything about Europe. Okay. And having the second reserve airstrip or airport in Russia, literally it says having a reserve airport, okay, home base, where in case something happens to you here at your home base, you go to the second base. Back then, everyone was rich, was making fabulous money. Business was making money. The government was again swimming in cash and gold. Large projects all over Russia. Foreign investors came and they were just spending money left and right. Economic growth was, the forecast was fantastic. 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 was crisis, but then everything recovered. 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 clouds on the horizon. But, you're getting it. We had like 8 years of complete financial bacchanalia, I call it. In Russia, it's called vaccanalia, meaning public servants, politicians, they were making so much money. And they would have second citizenship, Their families would be living abroad someplace. Their kids were going to schools in England, in the United States, in France. It got down to this. The KGB officers, police officers, had double citizenship. Law did not prohibit it back then. Everyone was just funneling money out of Russia. They were making money here, funneling, crazy years. Then, I think around 2009, the government kind of woke up saying, wait a second, if you're a public servant, that you cannot have double citizenship of another country. You must have Russian citizenship solely to ensure that Russian, public servants, officials have the best interests of Russia in mind, not their second country. And then it started, I think the KGB officers were prohibited to have second citizenship, but then they were prohibited to have bank accounts abroad. And then the government started tightening the screws, so to speak. They started changing legislation to control assets of Russian citizens abroad and things like that. And then I think it started around 2010, okay? But still, up to this moment, lots of Russians who work for the government, they are successfully avoiding these laws, these regulations, and they still have their second bases someplace else far away from Russia. Now, I'm talking before February 24th. Now, what's happening now? I don't really know. It's a chaos because lots of countries have risen against Russian politicians living in their countries, against their families and so forth. I cannot tell you the information of what's currently going on. But before the 24th of February, oh yeah, there still was bacchanalia, okay? This analogy, I compare country to a house. Imagine you have a plot of land. Imagine you want to build a house and you do it yourself. You have some money, you go and buy materials and you choose the best materials. Okay, and you start building everything with your own hands. Foundation, you make sure that the foundation is strong. The best cement is available. The best materials, the best rebars, because you want your house to be quality. You want it to last 100 years. And then you go and buy the frame and build the frame, make it steel, double thick, extra thick. Then you take care of the exterior walls and so forth. You make sure that your roof is done correctly and it doesn't leak. You make sure it looks nice from the outside. Then you move to the interior and so forth. And after some time, there you have it, a wonderful house. And that is a house that you move into yourself and you want to live in this house for the rest of your life. And you want your children to inherit the house and live in this house for the rest of their life. And same for the grandkids. And you want to be proud that you built it with your own hands. You want it to be comfortable. You don't cut corners. You don't use cheaper materials to save money because you'd be stealing from yourself. Okay? Same thing goes for the country. If the country is organized right, then the public servants, officials, the bureaucrats, they contribute to the country and make it better because it's their home, it's their country, it's the only place they live, and they don't think of living someplace else. It's their home base for good, forever. It's the place where their children grow up, culture they learn, language they speak. They go to universities here. They graduate, then they have jobs, they start businesses. Of course, you can travel outside, abroad for vacation to study, but then you come back home. If you build home to last, if you build home to be beautiful, to shine, if you build your home to be solid, this is what it's all about. If the officials in your country are oriented towards building the country that they want to live in themselves for the rest of their lives, then the country would be okay. And then what do we have? my friends, we have a house that is not built, a house that was passed on, it's not maintained. All the money that are allocated for maintenance are being taken, okay, and sent someplace else. Roof leaks, walls falling apart, and no one wants to live in this house. And people responsible for renovation, for upkeeping, they're saying, well, you know what? That's okay. We'll just take that money. We'll go and rent or build someplace else far away. And this, what has been happening in Russia with thousands and thousands of people who are in charge, who hold high positions, who are supposed to be caring about the public good. I don't even think there's such a term as public good in Russia, okay? This, what is happening. So where do they take money? Again, before 24th of February. Now, what's happening now, I don't know, because we are in a state of war with the collective West. It's been said many, many times. And I take it that all the Western countries, the United States, the UK, France, and, European countries, they really watch and they try to investigate the sources of money of Russian people. But before that, where the money would go? Of course, they would go to the offshore companies. Cyprus was number one. Then there were offshore companies in the UK, and of course the Cayman Islands, Virgin Islands, and so forth. Dubai was another destination. After money would be transferred there, then they would be moved to the Western countries. The UK was madly popular destination for Russian money. Usually children, wives, close families, mothers, fathers of high-ranking officials would just move and live in the UK for the incomes, for the money that was sent to them from Russia, okay? And France was very, very popular destination, and lots of Russians, rich Russians, would buy property and reside in Côte d'Azur in the south of France, in blue Mediterranean. Lots of Russian yachts there, lots of Russian mansions. And, of course, the United States of America. That was the ultimate safe haven because there is no extradition law signed with the United States. And once a person becomes the citizen of the United States or a permanent resident, he cannot be extradited to Russia. In case there's criminal investigation, conviction, the United States does not give people out to Russia. And as far as I understand, it didn't, in the past, it didn't care about the source of money. So if you go to the United States, destination number one was Miami. Actually, I think it's north of Miami, the place called Sunny Isles, Florida. Russian community, rich Russian community. If you go there and you see who live there, it's mostly immediate family of Russian officials. Okay? Their kids, their wives, their lovers, mistresses, whatever. Beverly Hills was very, very interesting destination. Of course, not just Russians live there. It's for rich people in general, but many Russians would relocate there. In Massachusetts, there were a few places that Russians liked, especially the ones who wanted their kids to go to good schools. I know there's a little town, Winchester, Massachusetts. So lots of people were moving there. What is happening there right now? I don't really know. But before, that was the way. The UK changed its laws of foreign capital, and it started investigating the officials. And as soon as that happened in the UK, everyone started fleeing the UK. And usually they moved to France because France was much more liberal about capital laws. Now UK is off limits to Russians, even before the February 24th, but not safe haven anymore. I heard that lots of assets were confiscated, taken away by the authorities from Russians until they prove that it's legal money and it's legal capital and so forth. Anyway, what is happening right now, I don't really know. Was it really happening, the Russian paradox? Was it about middle level of public servants, authorities, bureaucrats? Unfortunately not. It all came down from the very top. Russia, well, as you know that, I've said it many times, is ruled by the president, Vladimir Putin, and his, I call it deputies, okay? Each person is in charge of certain area. For example, Sergei Shoigu is in charge of Minister of Defense, in charge of Army, okay? There's a person in charge of KGB. There's a person in charge of external affairs, foreign affairs, and so forth. So I cannot give you the facts because I don't know for sure. I think no one knows this information. It's secret in Russia, but there have been rumors running for years. I would even say decades, that some of the top officials, families, kids had, or perhaps still have, double citizenships of other countries, property in other countries, and basically resided in other countries, had permanent residency there. If I were to ask questions, I would really love find out where the families of the following officials live. Dmitry Medvedev, children, child, wife, and immediate relatives. That's Russia's third president, by the way. Sergei Lavrov, who spent over 10 years living in New York, working for Russian office in the United Nations. He has a daughter. What citizenship does she have? Where does she reside? Dmitry Kozak, one of the top Russian officials. Yelena Mizulina. What about her kids? Where do they live? Russia or perhaps somewhere else? Vladimir Yakunin, the former head of Russia's railroad company. Boris Gryzlov. Where are his child or children? I don't know how many does he have. Dimitri Peskov, the secretary of Vladimir Putin. Well, information about him is quite open. Okay, you can find it, but I would like him to confirm, where did his son live? Where does his daughter live right now? Okay. So the Russian paradox still exists. And I think this is one of the things that has led to this situation that we are in right now in Russia. Instead of caring for their house, instead of making it better, instead of taking money and fine-tuning it, make it beautiful, rebuilding, upgrading, and by the house I mean the country. Instead of that, thousands and thousands of officials had second homes someplace else in warm, nice, civilized places. And such gross criminal negligence of their work functions, responsibilities have partially led to the situation that Russia is in right now. As long as there is Russian paradox in existence, nothing good will be in Russia. When Russian paradox disappears and Russian people who are in charge of policies, in charge of the government, once they start thinking about their own country, then that is the moment when Russia will have some kind of future, some kind of hope. My friends, thank you so much. This has been my message for today. I hope you liked it. I think it's a pretty important one. I shared my personal story. Something that I came up with myself. I did not read it on internet anywhere. I didn't see anyone discussing this. But this is something that has been bothering me lately, because I witnessed everything happening. I witnessed the officials getting corrupted. I witnessed how they were moving money out of Russia. Didn't witness, but I saw this, And I didn't say anything. I wasn't saying anything at all. Back then it seemed okay. It seemed normal. Now I understand that wasn't normal, okay? Far from normal. And I understand that me, along with many other Russians who also were aware, who also could, do something about it, but didn't, we also contributed to the demise of our country. And I feel very sorry about that now. But you live, you learn. Anyway, this has been my story. I'm gonna turn on the comments. Please ask me questions if you wish. Be nice. Use common sense. Mods, you know what to do. Thank you so much. So turn in the chat right about now. Looks like it's on. As usual, I open it in a separate window. Just give me a second. Lorna, mommy, #1 today. And as usual, you're #1. Angelic at Life, hope you feel better. Resus, Robbie Van Haren, Joy, Christopher, Scott Nesbitt, Emra Makers, C. Vierix, James, Wild Wolfpack, John Knox, Becky Reed, John, QWERTY 3013, Tim Deans, Brian Woods, the usual suspects. Thank you so much for coming again and giving me a chance to deliver the message. Let me know what you think. If you want me to notice your question, put it in caps and please put Inside Russia after @ so it appears in a large orange box. I most likely will not be answering all questions here today. If I miss some interesting ones, I collect them and I will make a separate video where I answer all the questions, interesting questions that I liked, and I will upload it separately. So don't give up hope. Thank you. White Lightning 777, welcome to Inside Russia, new sponsor. Excellent. Black Cat, hello everyone, please be kind and give up for the mods. Give it up for the mods. Black Cat is the unofficial member of our Inside Russia mod team. Thank you so much, my friend. Agnes, thank you. Welcome to Send in My Life to... Welcome to Inside Russia. Send in my love to Czech Republic. There you go. Thank you, Agnes. Appreciate the support. SF Joe, as usual. King Kong, was bribes common in business deals? Very common, very common. Of course, I did not witness any bribes. I was never involved, but I heard rumors that lots of officials were actually accepting bribes. Well, I can't really explain how Nicola's father could afford to buy his son, to send his son to California to study. because that was a lot of money, and buy him a nice Porsche 911. Okay, so perhaps he was such a smart guy running a business on the side or whatever, but I doubt it. Richard Burris, thank you so much for giving the gift of 5 sponsorships to people from me and from new sponsors. There was a stream for sponsors and patrons on Saturday, and it was a pretty good one. I liked it very much. So let's see. Someone's from Sunny Isles, Florida. That's actually interesting. Please, no Russian, English only. Portia says, hello from Sunny Isles, Florida. Now, you tell me, are there many Russians living there? Russian businesses, Russian stores, Tell me about Sunny Islands. New sponsor, Harry Lagman. Thank you so much. JC, howdy from Sacramento, California. I have family that went to see Davis. Well, I went there for a summer session. When we used to go from Davis to Sacramento to go to a shopping mall. The first shopping mall I saw was in Sacramento, a large one. I remember there were like open areas. Couldn't believe my eyes. I came from an underdeveloped Russia, struggling with the remnants of communism, into California, and I was like, wow, I was walking around with my jaw dropped, literally, Sean, thank you so much. 100% on point. Russia is wealthy. Russians are not wealthy. There's a reason. Russians and the world pay the gap. Big hugs. Thank you so much, Sean. It's not a question, it's a statement. I agree, and thank you very much for huge support. You are one of the best supporters. The serial huge super chatter. Are you a Russian government official? Perhaps. I'm just joking. I know you're not. Kelvin, thank you so much for your support. No message, but this message is pretty strong. Karen Hackney, thanks for your updates. I wish you all the best for the future. Thank you so much. Thanks for the support and for the wishes. Maria Collin, hello from Florida. Howdy. Today's world something is with my tongue lately, I have hard time speaking the words. Janice Burgess, howdy from Reno, Nevada. Australia, Marty. See how we're living. I like the name. Hi from the UK. Canada. The usual suspects. Howdy. Howdy from Massachusetts, says Arthur Naila, and sending some support. Hello. Oracle, Small World. I went to UC Davis for my undergraduate degree, philosophy as well. And 96 was my starting year. Isn't that something? That is something. That is quite something. Wow, it is a small world. 1996, I came to UC Davis. I think it was either 3rd or 4th of August, okay? And I stayed all the way through September until the fall semester started. Wow. Well, great to know. Homeboys. I used to be a caddy at Winchester Country Club. Wow. Corey Z, happy to catch you on time today. Have you thought of opening a tea shop after your current job ends? Not really, because I won't make any money. I'll be drinking all the tea, so I'll be consuming. Stefan Dueling, I'm Hi from Germany. Do you have any idea what this kind of looting did to the Russian GDP in total? Must be huge. Now, it's really hard to say because obviously this information is not official anywhere, but some experts lately have been saying that in 22 years, $1 trillion have been looted from Russia. $1 trillion. David Sharp, hi Constantine, will socialism ever work? They have to buy into the model to make it work. I don't think it'll work because it's plain and simple. It's human nature. Nothing can make people work, act certain way. People have desires, and their desires, they drive actions. Okay, and the desires to live well, to do something, to live well. Well, of course, you can go and rob people to live well, but you know what? That just people need to get into community and not to let that happen, and they usually do. But if you set up the rule to actually go and have a job, create something, add value, and then get money, fair money for that, that's the only way. That's what I believe in. Socialism did not work in the USSR. I witnessed it. It just was not good. White lining, 777, the fishing licenses go to vessels for all seafood on Earth from Russian waters. If Nick's friend charged 1% on the profits, he's a multimillionaire. Well, something tells me he was it's not his friend, that was his father. Something tells me that he was multimillionaire by the beginning of the millennia, you know. The way the guy was spending money, back then, $100,000 for a car, it's still a lot now, but 27 years ago, it was like space money, you know. Amanda, thank you so much for the support. What does Russia report about the sleeper agents that were found in 2010? I've never heard of the sleeper agents. What sleeper agents? If you've never heard about it, it's a fascinating story. These are my bullets for today, by the way. This is, I just did the research for about 3 hours. I was looking whose public officials' families have what citizenship and so what, you know. So I'm going to write down sleeper agents in 2010, and I'm going to research it a little bit. Thank you for the heads up. Thanks for the support, too. Lorraine Prasnowski, great to see you. Thank you so much for your support. Sari Mento, hello from Florida. Thanks for continuing the info stream. Tell us, do you think Russia will ever host Olympics, World Cup, or other major world event anytime in the next decade? Best wishes. Sorry. All Russian athletes have been kicked out of all international competitions. It's not about hosting Olympics. It's not about the talk about the hosting Olympics. It's about talk. Will the Russian athletes come back into international competitions, World Cups, World Championships, European Championships, and so forth in the next 10 years? And if they do, who will be left in Russia? Because now athletes are running left and right to be able to compete. They changed citizenships, okay? Russia is facing very tough luck with sports, international sports, because simply right now people have no motivation to train. For what? Not to be able to go and be part of the Olympics, not to be able to go internationally anywhere, to any kind of competition, just Russian competition, oh, forget about that, you know. I'd rather go and do something else. There's no motivation. And this is another tragedy that is happening in my country, okay? I hope I answered your question. Not a chance, I'd say 20, 30 years and at least. And Russia will be lucky if Russian athletes under Russian flag are allowed to take participation in large events. Rachel, thank you so much for the support. Thank you for all the educational videos. I really like those informative content. Thank you so much, Rachel. You see, what I really value in my content is authenticity or exclusivity. I don't hear about this stuff from anywhere else. Okay, most my streams originate in my heart or in my head. Okay, I sometimes discuss with my wife. She gives me insights. Perhaps she gives me like the feedback, but that's as far as it goes. I read one of the comments recently that something like this: "Oh, Konstantin is out of, the country now, so he must be getting scripts from someone who sponsors him and reads the scripts, and that's it. He kicks back and relaxes and does nothing." Well, first of all, I still have a daytime job until the end of the month, and second is, who can sponsor me? CIA? I just tell things that are common sense and public knowledge. Everything can be researched and online on the internet. Okay, KGB, same thing. Public knowledge, research. You gotta be absolutely insane to think that I'm sponsored by anyone. Okay, no script, just some bullets, and that's pretty much it. Brain and head in my head. That's where all the stuff is born. Matt James, thank you so much for your support. I like the picture on Avatar with a seatbelt on. No one wears seatbelts here in Uzbekistan. Lisa, thank you for generous support. Hope you will be reunited with your family soon. Please keep on tuning in. You might be surprised one day. Luke King. Luke, great to see you. In my short trips to Moscow as a tourist in the early 2000s, I had to pay police at checks for spurious reasons. How is the level of corruption within business-to-business dealings? Okay, Luke. This is called... I forgot how it's called in Russian. But anyway, this is the lowest level of corruption. Cops stopping people on the streets and so forth. That mostly gone. No one really, no police officers would harass you and ask for money. When they stop you speeding or driving, like if you speed, break the rule, make a wrong turn or something like that, it used to be really bad. Cops would just extort money. They would take your license saying, we got to work out some kind of deal. No, they just give you official fine. Fines are very, very, very high now in Russia. And the cops are simply given a plan. Like they must give so many fines and that's it. Corruption on this level is much less. But what happened is the corruption on that level has gone up, okay, big time. And that's the tragedy. How is the level of corruption within business-to-business dealings? I would say I wish Russia had a fair court system. Read between the lines, please. That's how corruption in courts. Actually, if I told you, you'd be appalled. Okay, business to business corruption. I don't understand. Like what corruption? Like you hire someone, and then you pay that company for services rendered. There's kind of no corruption on that level. Frank Mueller, Howdy, Mr. Sky News Australia. Sky News Australia, yeah. Switzerland is a place too. Yes, of course, Switzerland. Switzerland is one of a kind places, okay? That I've been to Switzerland myself. I wanted to open a company there. Gosh, I will tell about this experience in one of the latest streams or later videos. It's actually quite unbelievable. Carrie Hobbit, thank you so much, Carrie. I appreciate the support. Very much needed, very appreciated. Georgia Family Dog Tales. Hi, Cheryl and Lawrence here. Whatever happened to your friend? My friend, you mean who was on the stream a couple days ago? Well, I'm not going to say anything, all right? I'm just going to wait a little bit. But there's news coming about my friend. Let's put it this way. Keep on tuning in. By the way, Frank, where did you hear about the Sky News Australia? I came to Switzerland. Well, we really needed to open an account at a Swiss bank for business, not to hide money, not to, corrupt someone or anything like that, but to basically start business, but not in Russia, but outside Russia, because we were afraid that our business would be taken by KGB, stolen from us, basically. So I came to Geneva, and right next to airport, there's a budget hotel. I think it's Holiday Inn. I checked in, and oh boy, place full of Americans. I met an American from New Hampshire. Said, "What are you doing here?" He goes, "I just came to open a bank account to optimize taxes for my company." And I'm like, okay, I understand what it means. That was the day that actually Donald Trump won the elections. I remember I woke up, I got down to the lobby to have breakfast, and everyone was just standing speechless, looking at the screen. And I was like, Donald Trump, his wife, his son, family. And it was late night in America, and there was a huge sign, Donald Trump, 46th President of America, and everyone's like, watching just like that. That was the day. Lionel Slade, howdy, howdy. Greetings from Cardiff, South Wales. Wow. We have quite a geography today. The virtual Vietnamese cat. Your room looks furnished now. Wow. Well, if you compare from the first streams from Uzbekistan, yes, I was sitting right very close to the wall. But now this is my new room, new apartment. So that's fully furnished, and it's actually quite nice. That's not a virtual background, okay? We have a new sponsor, Corey Z. Welcome to Inside Russia. Howdy, howdy. Ludmila Hopkins, long time no see. Joy, is Harry here? I have not seen. Bob S. Well, howdy, Bob. I don't remember if I said hi to you. Joshua Daniels, peace and love from Oakland, California. Isabel Lego, howdy, howdy, everyone. Dirty Starlight. Pretty sure London is still full of rich Russian families. Lots have fled London and the UK, and they took their money with them. So I'm sure there are quite a few families still, but not as many as it used to be. It used to be very safe haven for Russian. We used to call London, there was a saying among Russian elite, Londongrad. Okay, so it's like Russian London. John B, thank you for your support. I watched the stream today called Dima from Russia. A young man currently in Kazakhstan, I believe, seems like he needs advice and help. Well, my telephone is always open. He actually contacted me. He asked for a couple questions. I gave him a couple answers. I gave him advice, but that's it. If he needs anything, if I can help, I would. Andy's Fishing Wild Cook. I like the name. Hi, Konstantin. I like your open mind, being Russian and living there. Do you think communism can work? No, I don't. For me, looking in from the outside, I see so much corruption caused by too much control. The best book I've read is Atlas Shrugged. Okay, go ahead, Ayn Rand. Okay, go ahead and read it. It's about communism, socialism versus capitalism. Communism does not work because once person is given means to distribute wealth to other people, that is corruption right there, because power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. People need honesty in dealings with one another. People need, there shouldn't be any room for corruption. That's how capitalism works. It's a very fair system. You perform services, you get paid. You create product. If people like your product, then they buy it, you get paid, you make money. There's no way around it. Once you start put someone into position to distribute money, help, wealth, programs, or whatever, that person gets corrupt, and everyone wants like personal wealth. Everyone cares for themselves first, then for the others. And some people don't care for the others at all. Okay, so that is the biggest problem. John Wakamatsu, long time no see, John. Thank you so much. Buy some tea. This is very good tea I found in Uzbekistan, but I'm running low on it. I figured that a pack of tea lasts me 10 days. 10, 12 days, something like that. I met Slava of Russian Plus channel, the host of Russian Plus, and he's a tea drinker, just like me. But he also drinks coffee equally. Ossetin. Nice. I know. Must be from Ossetia. We democratic liberal Russians need to buy island and create new country like Taiwan. Are you a democratic liberal Russian? You says we. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Thanks for the support, Ossetin. I've been to Ossetia, pretty good place though. SB Web Service, all the best to you, my friend. Thank you for very generous super chat, for great support. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Photo 4, I can tell you right now, Medvedev owns a villa in Croatia near Dubrovnik. Rumors in Russia about that. Okay, if I say something for sure, then, someone might get in trouble someplace. But rumors, not only in Croatia, but also in the United States and some other countries and so forth, Can you imagine that US or UK politician actually has property in Russia or in China or in Japan, okay, and his family or her family lives on that property in different country with different citizenships? US senator, congressman, can you imagine that? In Russia, it's reality. Bridget Apley, thank you so very much. Rocking Santa, Dear Konstantin, why was the previous video about the bridge deleted? Just a new point of view. I was waiting for this question. Holy cow. Yesterday was a stinky substance storm. Okay. The video was deleted. It's not deleted, actually. It's still there on YouTube, but I limited access to the video. Okay. So I did not delete it, technically. But lots of people misunderstood me. They took my words out of context. And they started going around and saying things that I didn't really mean. Okay. And instead of just like replying, there were so many comments. There's so many people got so, how do you say it, vile. They're so upset, so angry. I decided to just, limit access to it. That's pretty much it. I decided to make a statement right after that, and you can see in the community post. And this is exactly what I mean. And this is exactly what I stand for. No more, no less. Okay? Everyone who's been following me, at least for some time, understand my attitude towards Ukraine, understand what I support and what I don't support. And in case there are new people they don't know, I wrote basically a statement. I wrote my cause, my mission. Some people don't like it. Well, I'm sorry, but what I really don't like is when I say black and they say white. And they turn around and they say, well, you just said white. No, I said black. Black is black and white is white. And then they just keep on going. Oh, you know what? He said white for black and black for white. Basically, that's why I deleted the video. My goal yesterday was to give updates on what was happening, how Russian news was portraying what happened at the bridge. No more, no less, People were expecting me to jump up and down of joy. I don't ever do that. John Wakamatsu, thank you I already saw that. Brian Woods, hi Konstantin, allow me to disagree, although agree with you generally on capitalism. Capitalism on steroids, in which the wealthy, without limits, can buy elections and thus the politicians... No, wait a second, Brian. I agree with you here. I don't mean that capitalism on steroids is good when... This is not capitalism. When people actually abuse power, they buy votes, elections, and so forth. That's not capitalism, okay? Capitalism is when relationships between people, politicians are honest. Okay, that's what I mean by capitalism. White Lightning 777, Hunter Biden lived and worked in Ukraine when Biden was vice president, but this caused a huge scandal that is very divisive in the USA. Let me tell you that Hunter Biden did work. He was known in Ukraine for his, some actions, okay? But again, that's between the USA and Ukraine. I don't want to even talk about it because, again, they will put so much dirt on me for that, and keep me away from that. But Hunter Biden, let's put it this way, he left many trails in Ukraine. That's obvious to anyone who understands, just researches a little bit. Amir, don't let the haters and trolls affect you. We all see you hard. Thank you so much, Amir. I really appreciate it. We also know you're a good, decent, and honorable man. I meant that. Next up, you and Slava going to interview one another. That would be epic. You know what? Slava's gonna stay here for some time. I think we will do something together. At least I wanna perhaps invite him for a stream. That would be really nice. I just need a good topic for that. And of course, I need to fix the second microphone so it works well. Again, I apologize for that epic failure on Saturday. There was a mic on my guest, but I thought it was working, and it wasn't working. So that's what happened. Richard Burris just gifted sponsorship to 5 people. Thank you so much, Richard. I really appreciate it. And 5 people also appreciate that. Klaus Tuver, thank you so much. Thank you very much. John B., you're probably giving mods heart attacks even mentioning that much about politics. Well, my friends, that's the thing. Of course, I can completely ignore politics, and probably it'd be much easier on me and much easier on the mods. If you think that the politics issues are hard on the mods only and not hard on me, you're wrong. Because every political message, okay, usually it takes a little toll on me. It's unpleasant and it hurts. And lots of people, start erupting their emotions and feelings and so forth. But this is me. This is what my messages are about. I don't cater. You see, that you gotta understand about me. One thing, I do not cater to the audience. Okay, I'm not doing marketing here. I know lots of YouTubers do. They say, we do things that they want to hear. Not here, okay? I deliver messages that are interesting to me, okay? If no one wants to listen to them, then let be it, okay? But if I feel that it's something worth mentioning, it's interesting, I know this topic, I can deliver it well, and I think it, this would be right in this current situation, then I do it, okay? I hope that mods will forgive me for that, for going to controversial topics sometimes. But that's who I am. I'm not gonna change, I'm sorry. Joy, welcome to Inside Russia. Thank you so much. Sweet G, wish I could afford more. Don't worry about it. If you can't afford, if you're struggling with money, please do not send super chats. Watching and sending prayers and wishes as comments is good enough. Okay, so no worries about that. Also wishing the best for you and your family. Thank you so much. Palvier Flex, Russian politics ignore their own rules and laws, so why start following them? Well, I don't know what to answer you. My country is Russia. I was born and raised in Russia. It's kind of like in my heart. Politics is, we're in Russia. We didn't care about politics for such a long time that politics started caring about us. They came to us, okay? And they started kicking us in the butt. Not even in the butt, in other parts of anatomy. That's why I think that's hugely important to understand what has been happening in Russia, and so that way mistakes are not made again by Russians. Highly doubt it, but at least you know what mistakes we made and you don't make your own. I think that's why this is important. That's why you all need to start following them and seeing what was wrong made in Russia. Jared Williamson, I cannot afford a membership, but yesterday was my 53rd birthday. Is anyone willing to donate a membership to me? I promised to donate to charity on payday. Well, look, shall we sing you a song? I am asking everyone to cover your ears. There you go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jared. Happy birthday to you. Not me just singing. Everyone was singing along with me. Yelena, thank you so much for the support. Yeah, this wonderful move singing. I think I'm gonna wrap up. Oh, it's already 15 minutes. My friends, thank you so much for coming on Sunday. Thank you for giving me a chance to deliver a message. Thank you for hearing my message. I really appreciate it, and I invite everyone to join me for a prayer. Let's do it. Sunday is a very good day to pray. Before I start, again, I will go over the questions that were left unanswered from the silent questioners, and I will make a separate video. I was gonna do it every day, but there's just too much work involved. I'd rather do it like once, twice a week or once a week, something like that. So please join me in prayer. Dear God, thank you so much for giving us this week. Thank you so much for giving us this day. Thank you for putting food on our tables, roofs over our heads. Thank you for surrounding us with people that we love and who love us. Please help our children, keep them safe and healthy. Give us wisdom to bring them up so that when they grow up, they make this world a better place, and we will never engage into any war with one another, with each other. Please help Ukraine. Stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. Reach out and touch the hearts of people who are responsible. Fill them with love, mercy, forgiveness, warmth, remorse, empathy. Fill them with all good feelings. That will just change the situation. They would make this decision to stop the bloodshed. Make their hearts softer, make their eyes open, and make them forgiving. So they make this right decision to stop the bloodshed. Please reach out and touch the hearts of Joe Biden and Vladimir Putin. Fill them with love. Fill them with warmth. Make their hearts softer. Make their hearts forgiving. Touch them the way that they will make the decision to stop the bloodshed. Please help everyone who's helping Ukrainians, opening their hearts, homes, doors, wallets, sending prayers, good wishes. Please, God bless them. Please help every single person in Ukraine who has been displaced, affected, wounded, hurt, disappointed, dismayed. Please give them strength, give them forgiveness, give them recovery, complete recovery. Please send happiness their way. Send every single person in Ukraine an angel, please. A strong angel, so they are protected and kept out of harm's way, so not any more drops of blood shed there. Please help the country, bring peace between Ukraine and Russia. We really, really hope you help us. We ask you every single day, not just us, but I think the entire world is asking. Please hear us, and please stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. Please help all the pregnant women who making the decision to whether to keep their babies or not. Reach out and talk to them so they make the right choice. Please send help to anyone who's running for their lives, away from danger of any kind. Please help those traveling. Send help their way. Please Help those seeking political asylum, crossing the border, searching for new life. Please send help their way. Please help all those depressed with depression, mental disbalances affected by different bad news. Please give them recovery and calm them down, because lots of people need to be calm again. Please help those people in Florida who have been affected by the hurricane, so their homes are restored, their lives are recovered soon, and everyone goes back to normal. I'd like to thank you for bringing us together in this wonderful community and allowing us to pray together. Please help everyone who is praying right now, and those who watching us pray. Please answer everyone's prayers here and make everyone's wish come true. I would like to ask for a few people who need your help real bad. They are Priscilla, Michelin, King Nero, Gaby Hyman, Martin, Joanne, Donald from Wisconsin, Allison Dave Moyers, I Found Waldo, Liz, Deborah, Isabel Legault, Carol Reed, Janice Burgess, Maureen, M and her sister, Kiki's granddad, Golden Griffon, Terry Carter, Ariana, Liz Dumbrell's ex-husband Terry, please needs help, Bruce B, Kayleen, Michael, Thomas, Tony, Bob, Jessica, Minutes to Midnight, Cindy Workman and her husband Rod, Mr. Hanson, A.D. Howitz, Robert Morgan's, please, Robert Morgan, please help Jacob with bad addiction, Amel and Jennifer, Andrea, Ashley's family, Angelic at Life, Alla Lacha, Cosmision, the family needs help, Rain G, Yelena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Bonnie, Galina and Igor, Buzz, Jean-Paul, Paula, Janine, Michael Milkevitz, Marlene, Susan S., Fiona, Madeline, Stephen, Ellen, Freddie, Sabrina, Felicia, Paul Binns, Preacher's father, family of Rudy Kaisley, Richard, Robert Morgan again, Mallory M., Dirk Misler's father and Dirk Misler, who's in the hospital. Send speedy recovery, please. James Rhodes, who is going for a surgery. Terry, Brittany S., Lars Henrik's father. Wait for it. Lane Hankins, Reese Gray, who we haven't seen for a long time. Bridget Apley, Hannah and her children, Agnes' sister. Black Cat, was so glad to have him back. May Scott Nesbitt, sister, rest in peace. Richard Burris, Ace, EN, Common Sense, again, Angelic at Life, and Scans Family. Grandson needs help. I also would like to ask for 3 children. They are Maverick, Sebastian, and Coulter. They need your help. They need recovery. Families need them back home healthy. They need to live healthy and long lives. Please show them your miracle to the children and to their families. Thank you so much, dear Lord Jesus. Amen. My friends, thank you very much for giving me a chance to deliver a message, and thank you for praying with me. Thank you so much. Before I sign off, I actually would like to show you that what's behind me is not a green screen, how it looks like a little bit. And I'll see you tomorrow. There you go. Cabinets here. Kind of looks flat.